You know, today I found out something really important, and that is if you're accomplishing a lot of things and you're pushing yourself beyond your limit and trying to do all of those things that you ever came to do, and you're still feeling unsatisfied, this video is for you. You know, when you come to the desire to accomplish a lot of things to do, achieve this one great goal and achieve this another great goal, but usually it creates a deeper chain of reaction that we try to adapt and try to change ourselves from. Essentially, what our goals are desires that we want to fulfill. And because we have a certain goal, we usually desire ourselves to work hard. And usually by desiring to work hard, we also adapt our identity and ourselves in order to fit into becoming the person that would achieve this certain desire, because you believe this certain desire would make us happy. Yet, by trying to achieve this goal, what also usually happens is that we come to create this separation between ourselves, in which we have first of all this one identity that does all the things that you want and desire and is able to achieve those desires, and usually the current self that isn't able to. So a lot of these approaches, when you try to change something and we try to adapt, it happens to result usually into splitting ourselves into cells. The one that we try to neglect and try to suppress and try to self-develop, so to say, into something different that we would find more likable, and the other self that we always try to adapt towards. Now, because we neglect this current inner experience that we are working from, this from where this desire is coming from to achieve all of those great things, what we happen to do is that we come to neglect to deal with it. In the sense that when you try to achieve a certain kind of fame, so we have these connections, and so we feel validated, and so we feel welcomed, we may associate certain values of the goals that we try to achieve. But what we usually tend to seek is a certain experience rather than the achievement of a material goal. And I'm not trying to give this spiritual advice or anything. It's usually this neglect or misinterpretation of the emotional experience that we try to find immediate satisfaction from. You know, you see this common point of view where goals are divided into short-term approaches, which is immediately pleasurable, and which is long-term pleasurable. But this binarity is pretty much unhelpful, because when you seek something long-term or good or virtuous, it also creates this form of security, and satisfaction is also present in the current moment. So, and what we usually do when you try to achieve the long term is that we usually try to avoid feeling bad pursuing the short term, which is also immediate suffering. So there is no truly a division between those two, as much as we like to perceive it, but it's mostly it's called subjective categorization. Now, because we don't come to understand from where this desire is coming from, we usually don't find any satisfaction within any pursuit of a goal. The reason for that is simply because we associate the material goal, the satisfaction, the validation we try to find as a substitute, as a coping mechanism to deal with our current emotional experience. This external validation, this self-development, this adaptation that we try to put on ourselves is a way to deal and cope with our anxiety. It is a way to deal with a current experience that we rather come to avoid dealing with. And so, to give you a sense of understanding is that don't take my word for it. Just try to look at how you tend to emotionally feel whenever you tend to pursue a goal. Look at how you feel when you fail at achieving a certain standard. Look at how you feel when you achieved a certain goal. Look at your regular emotional experience and how all of these goals and how all of this self-development comes the emotional to a coping mechanism for dealing with those emotional experiences. Now, I'm not saying whether self-development or the pursuit of a goal is good or bad. On the one hand, it is societally necessary to pursue those things, but still, what a lot of this self-development or, let's say, striving towards success is coming from is usually as a mechanism to deal with our personal anxieties. It's like, for example, the relationship that you would adapt towards food. Now, food is not bad in of itself, but you can still develop unhealthy relationship like emotional eating or use it as a way to deal with your personal distresses or to deal with gaslighting yourself out of a negative experience or use it as a form of pleasure that you try to get away yourself from. Usually a healthy eating involves having a healthy mindset around it in the sense that, yes, I want to feel good and that's why I would choose great and healthy soup recipe over the donut. Because I know that the donut would make me feel physically drained and tired. It's because we try to pursue this pleasure and satisfy ourselves. A lot of these pleasures and validation goals are usually one way or another to deceive ourselves from what is actually going emotionally within us. And so, yeah, take a look within it. Take a look and from what you try to avoid from. Because when you try to give an answer why we do things, there's a clear distinction between trying to create a further identity from it within finding your why and creating a deeper identity through it. But it's not coming from an identity that's signifiable. It comes from an experience. It's not this underlying deep theoretical sophisticated process from that you're operating from. The sophistication is created from the emotion in of itself. It's not made out of nowhere, it's not the cause of it. It is caused by the experience, and later on that you try to deal from. As identity is not this essential figure from that all these desires are coming from. It is coming from the experiences we try to avoid and that we try to pursue.